Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Well, this puzzle has a lot of rules, but actually the rules are some of the rules of poker. So if you know the rules of poker, you'll be okay with this. Now, I did learn the hands in poker a long time ago, but I've never actually played the game. Certainly not, more than a hand or two just to see how it works. But there we go, a gap in my education and card play. Let's first of all tell you all about Patreon, where we've got the brilliant Sudoku Hunt by Blobs, which is based on Back to the Future, is called Back to the Future, and features puzzles that show images from the movie Back to the Future. And it's really brilliant. Do check it out. Blobs is an absolute master of this stuff, and everybody is loving it. It's live until the 20th, so do that. Also on Patreon at the moment, Simon Solve of Listened by Eck. Simon has talked about recording his solve of Saber's Listener, which is current at the moment, i.e. you could still enter it as a contestant, so it won't go up till that's finished. And even if he doesn't do it, I've solved that puzzle too and recorded my solve, so that version will go up at some point on Patreon, along with my connections videos and the other stuff we put there. Check it out. You can also get to Sven's Sudoku pad on the link under the video and support the masterful work of Sven, who has developed this software that we use every day. He's brilliant, and you can find our apps, which feature Killer Sudoku, which is semi-relevant to today. That is a really good app, by the way. And there are, of course, many others. Fog of War and The Worms, featuring James Sinclair, Marty Sears, and momentarily, or possibly now, depending on when they get released, Fistema Fell and Michael Lefkowitz. And these are just fantastic collections. Quite challenging, these ones. There will be James Sinclair manageable if you're fairly novice to variant Sudoku. And there will be others that are manageable later. So please do check those out. Great stuff. Now, I'm going to go through the rules of this puzzle. Now, actually, Vilsa, whose debut it is, and congratulations, Vilsa, sent in the puzzle. And the rules on that, I read through them, and they were palpably impossible. But I worked out what they meant, and I have adapted them. So what the rules claimed, and you will see as we go through the poker hands and how they work here, that it would be impossible. What the rules claimed was that no hand in this puzzle, or no cage in this puzzle, could represent two different hands. Well, now, I'll explain as we go why it was impossible that was the rule. Anyway, normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Hands in poker, which consist of 5 cards, which are cells here, are represented by the cages. If a cage doesn't contain 5 cells, like this one, cages with the same value in the top left corner belong to the same poker hand. So that's a 25, and there are others. So you note that there are 5 cells in cages with 25 in the corner. Every poker hand listed below is represented once. For example, if a cage consisted of all odd digits and also had 3 of the same digit, that would represent either a flush, because the flush is going to be defined as all the digits have the same colour. We'll explain that in a moment. Or 3 of a kind, but not both. Anyway, the way the rules were originally written said that it was not possible in the final grid for any cage to be 2 types. But I worked out that the flush cage must either be a high card, a pair, a 2 pair, a 3 pair, or a 4 of a kind. So it just wasn't possible. Anyway, the point is that each cage in this puzzle represents one of those types. So it might be of 2 types, but it only represents one of the types. Now, the types of cage listed in the order of poker hands. High card, all digits are different. Pair, 1 pair of digits is the same. 2 pair, 2 pairs of digits are the same. three of a kind, three of the digits in the cage are the same. A straight, all the digits are consecutive, so that's like a Renban, I suppose, for us. A flush, all the digits have the same colour. We'll explain colour in a moment. A full house, three of the digits are the same digit and the other two are the same. So three of one and two of another, like a full house in poker, obviously. Four of a kind means four of the digits are the same. Finally, here we get the idea of colour. Even digits in this puzzle represent black cards and odd digits represent red cards. The digits in a poker hand sum to the number in the top left corner. So those 5 digits in the 25 split up cage add up to 25. And digits can repeat in a cage. I think that's obvious from the fact that we have 4 of a kind and 3 of a kind and full house and 2 of a kind. I mean, it's a lovely idea. We don't normally encourage complicated rule sets, and although there is complication here, it's to fulfill the brief of getting all the poker hands. Now, when this says all the poker hands, some people are always minded to point out that there is no royal flush. And there's no straight flush here. So it's all the poker hands up to 4 of a kind are represented. Yeah, I mean, a straight flush and a royal flush are just variants of straights and flushes. So I'm not bothered by that. It's a great idea. It's intriguing that this can be presented with just the cage totals, no given digits. Give it a try. I've no idea how difficult it's going to play, but I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. So we're going to definitely have to keep the list up beside the puzzle. Both, I know you can see that on the card above the video, but I have to make sure I can see it on my screen. And we're going to have to consider the difficult ones to create, the difficult ones to fulfill. So 4 of a kind seems to me damn near impossible with a cage. We have to, although digits are allowed to repeat in a cage, normal Sudoku rules apply, so they can't repeat in a row, a column, or a box. And what cage here is going to allow 4 of a kind? And I'm going to say, well, let's just green them when we find out that they can't be. That one can't be, because they're all in the same box. This one can't be because we've only got 2 columns represented. This one we've only got 1 row. This one only is in 3 boxes, so that can't allow 4 digits of the same. This one's only in 2, and this one, which doesn't have a number, is only in 2. So we're down to the 12 and the 25, and it can't even be the 12 that has 4 of a kind, because that's only in 3 boxes. So the 25 is the 4 of a kind cage. Let's colour it yellow. And that's quite interesting, because I was sort of thinking the 25 might well be, it is the sum of the 5 odd digits. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We know it's the 4 of a kind cage. Now, there are 2 of these in the same column and 2 in the same box. So if this one was one of the 4 of a kind digit, it would not be replicable in those 2 cells. So it's not. This is the odd one out. These 4 are definitely all the same digit. Now, what is that digit if these 5 cells are adding up to 25? There's more. It's not 5, actually. 5 I was looking at because it's the average of 5 cells adding up to 25, so it's the one you'd expect to repeat. But if those 4 cells were all 5s, the 5th one would have to be a 5 as well, and that would break Sudoku rules. So these are either 4s or 6s, I believe. 4 4s are 16, and that would require the odd one out to be a 9. 4 6s are 24, and that would require the odd one out to be a 1. And if you had 4 3s or anything lower, this would have to be too high to compensate. If you had 4 7s or anything higher, this would have to be low. So we found one of the cages. We haven't found what digits are in it quite, but we've limited them. And now we move on to whatever is the next hardest to fulfill. And I'm assuming it's the full house, 3 of one and 2 of another. So let's just go back through these cages. I might be wrong, because at some point the flush and the straight are going to be involved. Basically, the flush means that all the digits are the same parity. And the straight is a Renban. All the digits are consecutive. But the full house has to be harder than 3 of a kind or even 2 pair. It has to be. I mean, it just is more restricted. So this is not the full house again. This can't have 3 of a kind because it's only in 2 boxes. Same for that. Same for this. Actually, same for this because we're only in 2 columns. So, is the 12 possible? 3 of a kind and 2 of another kind. So, the 3 of a kind would have to be that cell, and 1 of these. But then that would leave 2 of these to be the minor pair in the full house. So I don't think that's possible either. Why did I say those would have to be involved in the 3 of a kind? Because they would have to be in 3 different boxes. It would actually be in those cells. But that is not the 3 of a kind. So this is the full house cage. And one of them is in this box. One of them is in this box. Right, I'm going to need a colour for the cell this time. Maybe that's what I should have done before, is coloured those because they're the same digit. Now, we've got one of the triples, the trio in that box, one in that box, and one definitely here. And by Sudoku, that means that the one in this box is there and the one in that box is there. These two are going to be the same digit because this is a full house, 3 of that and 2 of that. Oh, I don't know why I coloured this grey. It should have gone green. Now, what are the numbers? If you had 3 lots of 3, 4, 5, 3 lots of 5 is just possible if these were a pair of 9s. 15 and 18 adds up to 33. So I suppose it could be 3 lots of... No, it can't be 3 lots of 6. You can't have 3 lots of an even number because these two are going to add up to an even number between them because they're 2x. So this might be 3 lots of 7 is 21, and these add up to 12, so they'd be 6s. And the alternative is 3 lots of 9. Yeah, that does work. And then these would be a pair of 3s. 27 plus 6 equals 33. So again, we've limited our abilities. Now, I'm going to go to 3 of a kind next because I think we've discovered as we've gone through these that that is going to matter. 3 of a kind can't be done here, 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 or here. In most cases, because the cages don't go into 3 boxes. But in the case of this 29 cage in an L shape, because it only uses 2 columns. So it's going to have to be the 12 that is 3 of a kind. And we've sort of already worked out where those 3 of a kind digits are. They're in those cells. These two now don't have to be the same, and they can't be. So this cage only adds up to 12. So this is a very low digit in orange. And I'm conscious, as I'm colouring these cells, that some of the colours could overlap with each other. So I have not been checking whether orange could be the same as... See, I think orange could be the same as purple so far. Actually, those 4 all have to be different because they're in the same column. So until I got to orange, there was no possibility of an overlap. Now there is a possibility of an overlap with purple, but not with the others because it sees them all in this box. Anyway, these 3 are the same. So clearly they could be 1s. Could they, and maybe 2s, could they be 3s? Yes, if they were 3s, this pair would be a 2-1 pair. So I think these digits are selected from 1, 2, or 3. How could they be the same as purple? Only if all those digits were 3s. Now, if these were 3s, that's a 2-1 pair. If they were 2s, this adds up to 6. and can't have a 2 in and is a 1-5 pair. If they were 1s though, this adds up to 9, this pairing, and doesn't use a 1, and that's less constrained. Now, it's time to think about another hand, another type of hand. Oh, okay, the flush. All the digits have the same colour, meaning that they're all either odd or they're all odd or they're all even. Okay, across 5 cells, even this one isn't ruled out, actually. It could be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. What I was going to say is across 5 cells, the total is going to tell you when we find the flush cage, we will know whether it's adding all odd digits because the total of 5 odds will be odd, or all even digits because the total of 5 even will be even. Of course, this cage doesn't have a total in. Okay, forget flush for the time being. Straight. Oh, all the digits are consecutive. Right. A Renban of 5 cells, so 5 consecutive digits have this property, that their total is divisible by 5. If you think about it, if you like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the simplest version. And yes, they add up to 15, and that's divisible by 5. But the reason that we know that it's divisible by 5 is because there are 5 digits, and they must all average the same as the central digit. And therefore, the total of a consecutive sequence of 5 digits is going to be 5 times the central digit in the sequence, and therefore that total, that product, is always divisible by 5. And obviously, this is possible because we don't know the number. This is possible because it is divisible by 5. If this was the flush cage, 5 would be the central digit because 5 times 5 is 25. And the digits in this cage would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, can these all be the same? Okay, so I don't know. It's one of these two light green cages is, or I suppose that's actually darker green than the bright one. One of these two cages is the flush. And no, one of them is the straight. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I'm going to go to the kind of other end of the spectrum. Now, I don't know. I mean, is it obvious which is which? Let's do a bit of Sudoku. We've got 4 yellows looking into box 2. That digit is yellow and it's 4 or 6. And now these can't be 3s. 3 3s in those cells would be 9 plus at least 4 is 13. Well, that's quite interesting. So if they were 2s, this was going to have to be a 5-1 pair, and that's gone. Aha! So these are 1s, and we get our first digits in the grid after 12 minutes. These two now have to add up to 9. So if that's 4 or 6, this digit is 3 or 5. I didn't think we would have enough to do Sudoku with. That's quite amusing. Now, we needed one of these bright green cells there or there. Obviously, it could be 5 in that cell. Ah, but that 1 has made this blue, light blue cell a 9. And that means these other, well, not that, but these other 4 in the 25 cage add up to 16. So they're 4 4s. That digit is now a 4. This digit, now we've got 3 1s and a 4 in our disjointed 12 cage, and that's 7. This digit is a 5. That doesn't mean it's green yet, but it is a 5 in that cell. Now, 9 is looking at the green cell here, so they're not 9s. and therefore these aren't 3s. 9 is also looking at the purple digit here. So those aren't 9s. These are a pair of 6s, definitely, which add up to 12. These add up to 21. They're all 7s. That is now not green. This is the green cell and is a 7. Okay, so this colour scheme was right to not colour big cages. And in fact, let's get rid of those colours. I'm just going to bear in mind that the straight, the Renban, has to be in one of those. But maybe we can do a bit more Sudoku as we approach. What else have we got? Just so I know, we've still got loads of cages to identify, haven't we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the puzzle, which are, we've done 3 of a kind. So they're flush, straight, 2 pairs, pair, and high card, where all the digits are different. Okay, just inventory. Right, 1, 1, that's a 1. If I can find something that proves that's not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then the straight will have to go here. Oh, hang on. For this to be the straight, it doesn't have a 4 in it, does it? The digits would have to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And look, these 2 cells cannot be 5, 9, 7, or 6. So there'd be 8 and what? Who knows? This is not the straight. The straight is now down here, and it is the digits 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this one sees 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that's a 3. This is a 5 because it still sees 4, 6, 7. And then 4, 6, 7 are over here. And we've found the straight cage. Now there's no point colouring it because I'm colouring individual digits now. These remaining digits in the row are a 2, 8, 9, triple. These remaining ones in the box are a 2, 8, 9, triple. Right, so we've found the straight cage. We haven't yet found the flush, where all the digits are in the same parity. And then after that, we've got 2 pairs, 1 pair, and all the digits are different. Right, Sudoku. 6 and 9 are up there, and that's a 2, 8, 3 triple. This is a 5, that might have been the easier way of spotting that. 6 and 9 are looking at this cell. One of these is a 3, one of these is a 6. Okay, I'm going to think about the flush gauge now. All the digits are the same parity. So it can't be here, because if these were all the same parity, there's 5 of them in the same box, they'd have to be all the odd digits, but they add up to 25. So that is not the flush cage. This one could be the flush cage if all the digits were odd. But then these would be 1, 3, 5, 9, which adds up to 18, and this would be another 9. Actually, that is possible. This cage can't be all this. Oh, it could be if that was 2, 8, 6. This would have to be all even, because these can't all be odd, because only one of those can be odd. What about this? Can this be all odd? No, this digit is definitely even, because it sees 1, 5, 7, 3, and 9. So this is not the flush cage, because that is even, but the total of the cage is odd, so they can't all be even digits. So the flush cage is either here with 2, 8 there and a 6 here. And these two are this is going to be a foursome of even digits. There'd be a 6 here and a 2 or 8 here. That is possible. Or this is all odd and is the flush cage. And that we would be able to put the digits in very precisely, in fact. I think I'm going to have to go back to doing Sudoku. That's annoying. Oh, hang on. We've got a cage with 2 pairs in it. Oh, that was the thing to think about. That's not here because... Okay, I'm so sorry. Right, 2 pairs can't be here because you'd need to have 2 digits in each of 2 boxes, and this has only got 1 in that box. In this cage, you'd need to have 2 digits each in 2 columns, and that one has only got 1, so you'd end up with a pair here. It obviously can't be that one, which can't have any pairs. Maybe that has to be the high card one now. Anyway, it is this one, because that's all that's left. This is the 2-pair cage. And that's quite amusing, because these 2 digits must be in those 2 cells, because they must be the pair that repeats, since they're the only ones in box 1, and they can't go there again. So these 2 digits are in these 2 cells. We're selecting from 2, 3, 6, 8, 9 there. This is the 2-pair cage, and now we do know, don't we, what the flush cage is. It's not allowed to be here because that is the wrong parity. So this is the flush cage, and it's all odd, and these digits are 1, 3, 5, 9, and we can do much better than that because 9 can't be in those cells, 1 can't be in any of these and must be there, 5 can't be in either of these, so they're a 3, 9 pair, and this is 5. These add up to 18, and that's a 9. Now we know this is a 6, and that's the repeating digit, which must be there. We could colour our 6s, couldn't we? I'd forgotten that. We could colour our 9 and our 1. Were we colouring 5s? No, apparently not. Now those 2 are the same in this cage without a total. And then we're down to that was the 2-pair cage, and this was the flush cage. We're down to a 1-pair cage and a no repeat digits cage. Well, this has to be no repeat digits because they're all in the same box. So this is the 1-pair cage, and that digit must repeat somewhere here. This doesn't feel very helpful, but I'm forgetting that we know what the cage adds up to. It adds up to 29. Let's just do Sudoku. 4 into this box goes there. 4 then is in one of these cells. That's a 2, 8 pair. That's a naked 3. This is a 1, 5, 9 triple. That is 2 or 8. Oh look, I've got a 6 there, so that's 9. 9's getting a colour for some reason. This one is 2 or 8. This one is 2, 6 or 8. One of these 2's a 6, we knew that. These are all the odd digits, so these are all even. I don't think that's particularly interesting in terms of parity. This is the 1-pair cage. So that digit has to repeat, and it doesn't repeat there. It must repeat in one of these 2 cells. Oh, if it was a repeating 2, that would add up to 4, and the remaining digits in the cage would have to add up to 25, and they'd all be different. That's not possible, so it's not a 2. This is either a repeating 6, in which case it repeats there, or a repeating 8, in which case it's in one of those cells. Oh, and I could use the secret of the total of box 3. Every box and every row and column adds up to the same total in the Sudoku. And we don't often share the secret with people, but that number is 45. It's the sum of 1 to 9, basically. So this box adds up to 45. We've got 29 in the cage, and 4 there is 33. These other digits add up to 12, not using a 4. It's not that helpful yet, but it might be in due course. Doesn't feel easy to finish this puzzle from this point. That's not a 9. I think it's Sudoku, probably. It's not a lot of K. Oh, I can put a 4 in there. Can I finish off 4s? No, I've got 1 there and 1 there. 9, 1, 7, 6, 4, and 2, 8 have been used there. This is 3 or 5. And it's going to repeat somewhere here. Is this difficult? Okay, let's think about the totals in this cage. If that's a 6 and 6 repeats, we've got 12 there. The other 3 digits in this column would add to 17 and not include 6. I just don't think that's an interesting sum. And if there were 2 8s repeating, the other 3 digits would add to 13, not including 8. There's a lot of possibilities there. I think there's a lot of Sudoku still to do. So we've got a 9 in one of those 3, a 1 in one of those 3, and a 6 also in one of those 3. And these 3 digits are going to add to 12. I want more information than that before tackling that box. I'm just not going to get more information, am I? Oh, 6, 7 pair. 6 and 7 are here and here, so 6, 7 go in here and here. And that, they're both coloured. What excitement. Right, 7, 7, there's a 7 somewhere up here. 6, 7, 2, 8, 9, 4. That is a naked 3. Oh, there's Sudoku still to do. Good news. Good news. Now that's fixed 3 and 9 here. I don't know why I'm still colouring, just for completeness now. That can't be a 9, and 9 is done in the bottom box. 9, 6, 1, 3, 4. So these include 7 and 5 in one of the top 2 cells. That's 2, 3, or 8. This is a repeat digit. And then it repeats somewhere up here as well. Is that useful? It could be. I'm suddenly going to come up with some way that these adding up to 12 is useful, but I don't know what it is. If that was a 9, these would have to be a 1, 2 pair, and it would be 1 there and 2 here. Oh, and maybe that would be interesting for this cage. I don't know, that's weird as a thought. If there were 2 6s in this cage, 12 plus 17 for the other 3 digits. Okay, let's think instead about if there were 2 8s, 16 and 13 for the other 3 digits. I can't quite say that they would have to include a 1 or a 2. Because they could be 3, 4, 7 to make 13. Okay, I'm really missing the point about this cage. It adds up to 29. It's got a single repeat. I feel like I must be able to tell what that digit is, and yet I don't know how. Okay, since... this is interesting. Since this digit repeats up here, 5 doesn't appear up here. These digits have to contain 1, 6 and that repeater. So 5 in this box is in one of those cells, and 5 in the top row is now in the corner. I don't know any other way I could have got that 5. That's quite interesting. It doesn't really help with this cage total and these outies adding up to 12. Does it? It so much depends what this digit is. One of those 2 is a 3, but all that means is that there is a 3 in this box, in this cage, which, since it might not be the repeater, I don't think that's interesting information. Okay, it's got to be about column 7, really. Oh, goodness. Okay, so if that's... Oh, of course, this cannot be a 6, because 6 can't repeat in this cage. This is huge. Gosh, that's taken me a long time to see. If that was a 6, this can't be a 6, obviously. 6 can't be in these cells either. Sorry, if that's a 6, this can't be a 6 because you'd have 2 in the same row. This can't be a 6 because we've pencil marked it. It sees a 6 there. These couldn't be a 6 because of that 4, 6, 7 triple. So the repeat digit is an 8. And now there is an 8 in one of these 2 cells. And we also know now, we also know now where 8 goes in box 8. there, and therefore we know which of those is the repeating 8. Now we've got 16 in this cage. These others add up to 13. Can that be a 9? No, because that is even. So we couldn't have a 1-3 pair. So that's not a 9. These 3 cells add up to 13. And what can this one be? It sees 8, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to write in 1, 2, 3, 9. Again, it can't be 9 because that can't be odd. And now this is very low. It can't be more than 3. And therefore these have to add up to at least 10. Is that right? 16, 9, yes, these add up to at least 10. This can't be a 1, it's a 5. This can only be a 6. And this can only be a 2. And that cage is suddenly done. And that's going to finish the rest of the puzzle. Well, when we use this cage to add up to 29, it will. Right, 2, 4. No 2s here. That's a 5, 9 pair. This is a 1, 3 pair. Right, back to this column. 6, 5, 8, 2, 0. We've finished box 5. These are 3, 7, 8. Now, what are we going to need in this column? We are going to need 1 and 9 up here. We know 1 is in the top row and 9 is in the second. Oh, I might get my colouring up to date before I start adding up. Let's do some colouring of 9s in blue. Or 4s. Look, we can do all the yellow 4s now. 1s, we haven't got any extra 1s. 4, 6, 1, 9 and 7 seem to be the digits we've been colouring, so I could do these 6s in purple. There we go. Right, that is 3 or 7 by Sudoku. These 3 digits we said repeatedly add up to 12. So those 2 add up to 11. If this was a 7, that would be another 4. So that is a 3 and that is an 8. And that is going to finish the puzzle. 5 there. That's where 7 goes in the row. This digit is 2 or 8. That is also 2 or 8. We need a 7 here as well. And we can probably finish 7s now. That's the 7. That's where 7 goes in the bottom of the puzzle. We can colour the 6 we put in. We can colour all the 7s. And we need a 6 at the top. There it is. That digit must be a 2. This 1 and 9 are going to be coloured when I will figure out what they are. Let's start with 9 here, 5 here, 9, 1, 1, 3. Right, the 1s are all orange, the 9s are all blue, and now I think we've got 5 cells coloured in every box. And we can finish off the other digits. 3, 8 there. Oh, this is a repeat digit. We still need to remember that. So it's now 2. That's 3, 8, 3, 8, 2, 8, 2. 1 digit to go. Just before we finish, I will reassess. This is the high card, set 97652. This is the pair. 1 pair of digits. Their 8s are the same. The 2 pair was up here, a 2, 6, a pair of 2s and a pair of 6s to go with 3. The 3 of a kind cage was this 12 one with 3 lots of digit 1. The straight, where all the digits were consecutive, turned out to be at the bottom, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The flush, where they were all the same parity, is here, 1, 3, 5, 9, 9. The full house, where 3 of the digits are the same and 2 were of another kind, 3 7s and 2 6s. 4 of a kind, where they were the same, is, oh no, well it was this 25 cage. 4 4s and a 9. And there we go. That is the solution to Poker Face. What a great song by Lady Gaga. And there we are. Lovely stuff. Thank you, Vilsa, for sending that in. Little bit complicated to get one's head around, but very good fun in the execution and some very nice cage resolutions, which cage was which hand and so on. I think I could have been a bit more sparkling in that, but I really enjoyed it. So I'm happy. I hope you're happy enough today. We'll see you again soon on the channel. Bye for now.